All right, Robert, do you know what?
What?
We're just about to have our 25th best September in the past 28 years.
What would you expect?
Well, it's no surprise to you because these are your numbers. And on this episode with Real Estate Chat with
Yonder Perez.
and Robert Eade, we are going to give you a glimpse of what the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board is likely to announce a few days from now of the airing of this episode. And we're going to see how close Robert gets to predicting, rather forecasting, the sales, inventory, and where things are going. Robert, let's jump right into these numbers. Let's start with inventory.
Okay, again, the word is projection because we're taking the existing data and making a whole month out of it. So we're watching inventory and we say it's going to be around 18.5. And we look like sales are going to be 46, 47. So it's going to be just a little bit less than 4 months of inventory. That is where we're going to see. Now, here is our projections of everything where we have the model. And then below that, we have the August actual. And then we have our estimates for September. So we have no idea what the real number of new is. And that's what this is all about. So I say that new is going to be nearly 16, 15.9. And that relists are going to be almost 3,800. And that sales are going to be 46.64. I did it a couple of days ago. And that the way I calculated, there was just over 6,000 terminates. And if we subtract the relists that they're going to announce from that, we get 2270. So the net, adding them all together and subtracting them, got 20,712, which should be inventory for the end of September. And comparing it to well, that should say estimated September, i.e.
September.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So the variation is less than 2,000. So it's, what is it, 9 point something other percent. So we'll see. We'll compare. The only one that I'm doubtful about is what they're going to say the new is. And I don't know how they calculate relists. So we'll see.
All right, which is very interesting because when you look at the number of new, we're going to notice a big increase versus
Yeah, it
last
was
year.
12.2 last time. And
Yeah.
so because they're counting the relists as new, and there was just so many relists, it boosted up their new number, and that's killing their it's killing their sales to new listings ratios. So we'll see.
Well, part of the sales to new listings ratio exactly it'll pop, and part of the headlines the media will say, and you've heard it here first, is inventory surges and the number of homes for sale in the market has increased drastically.
Right,
So
four
let's look at
months, 4 months of
there
inventory.
you go.
Yeah. Okay.
4 months of inventory.
And there it is. So here you see the up and down. It's not as bad as the worst way back there, December of 08, when it was over 8 months of inventory. And it's above this sort of 3 that we say is, somewhere in there. We don't like to see it. And we're over that. But 1 month does not a year make. However, the trend has been going for about 5 months up.
So, Robert,
Yeah.
since we're talking about projections and making sure our real estate chat viewers have clicked subscribe so they can see how accurate these projections become.
Okay.
Where does this top off? Because I mean, this is scary here, and if this happens again, there'd be cause for concern. But where do you project this topping out?
Well, one of these days, we're going to talk about the best possible scenario in the future, the worst case scenario in the future, and the muddle in the middle that probably is going to happen pretty close. And when we get around to that, then we can answer that question.
All right. So a little bit of suspense. So make sure you follow along. Let's look at the sales figures.
Okay. So estimating into the future that 46, 47 sales happened in September. I did that yesterday on October the 1st. That's where we get this 25th. There was 24 better Septembers since 1996. And we can see all the way along, there's a lot of 23rds, 22nds. It's been a year like that. And if we look at the ratios off, so we're minus 41% of the 5-year, minus 41% of the 10-year, minus 58 of the maximum, and we're 8% below last year. We're 40-something% off of a hot market, which would have been somewhere close to 8,000, 40 and a half off the 5 and 10-year. So it's been 30 to 40% all year long. And
But sales are
quarter of
happening.
last year.
No,
So
sales are
it's the
happening.
same as it's been all year.
Yeah. And in future episodes of Real Estate Chat, we're going to cover the reason why sales are still happening despite the current climate that we're in. Now let's look at the actual prices.
Okay,
And this is
prices.
what we called, I guess, Robert, when we were talking about the fall flop, which I know you find as an annoying term, but I love putting
Well,
that in
there's
once
many
in a while.
components that they're not all flopping. They're just
No.
they're
And
they're
flop and
they're
flop is
muddling along.
flop
They're
is not my
putzing
hair, by
along.
the
Let's
way.
say they're putzing along. Fall putz, except it's not alliterative. Anyway, so I guess that prices, because the mix of houses is going to be slightly lower than a million, it's going to be off by 1.5% from the previous month. Now we're still up 2.66 from January, so it's a big fantastic, right? But we're down, we're 80%, 79.9 of the peak. So this is where what will the future bring? Which, if you can look through my head, you'll see how we try and consider it. But until you can see through my head, you won't know what I'm talking about. So we would look at breaking through the line. We broke through the line. We predicted it was going to break through the line. So it broke through two lines, both 22 and 21. So what do we see? If we take away some of the coverings down from the previous years, this has happened before. And this time of year is a time for not adventuring. This is a time for bundling up and getting ready for winter and buying new shovels. It's not for saying, what do we take as a chance? What do we do as an investment opportunity? What do we do in buying a new house? So it
Well, I guess
rarely
it makes
goes
sense.
wild in the fourth quarter.
I guess it makes sense because when you look at previous year trends from a decade or so ago, you're seeing more modest price movements here. And mind you, we were at lower price points then.
What we're
But keep in
concerned about is volume of sales. Prices are a function of whatever house gets picked, but volume of sales and is what we're really trying to find out about.
all right. So the gist of it is we're still in 25th of September is not the worst September ever. We're still seeing sales. We're still prices are still hovering at over the $1 million price point. So Robert, what do our real estate chat viewers who are it's October now,
Yep.
some may still be thinking about getting into the market.
Yep.
Some of them might be thinking about listing at this point. I mean,
Yep.
it's probably a bit trailing towards the end of the year, but what's the scenarios behind you, and maybe give a summary of what
Okay. So we got
the
5 kinds of customers. First time buyers, they got nothing to sell. Last time seller, they got nothing to buy. Buy and sell customer, they're moving both ends at the same time. Investor who's underwater, if he sold today, he'd lose money. An investor who's in the money, if he sold today, he would lose. He would make money. Does he want to still be an investor, or does he want to dump? So I'm going to say that if you are planning to sell an investment where you're underwater now, you want to sell it. And if you are a last time seller, it might be a time to sell, but you got to know where you're going. And if you're going to buy, hang on for a couple of days, hang on for a couple of months, maybe. Watch it very carefully. Go looking every single week. Go look for the best ones. Get on a prospect match. Go look at 5 a week. Go look at 5 a month. Doesn't matter, but keep on top of the particular niche, price range, geographic area that you want, and see what's happening there. If you see a beauty, because there's estate sales coming up all that time in every single price range, 500,000, 5 million estate sale, and they want to sell that darn thing before the snow flies. So if you're there, bingo, you can make a deal.
lots of inventory to choose from. So thank you for watching this episode of Real Estate Chat. Click like if you like this episode. Type into the chat what you think, and make sure you ask your question so that we can cover it in a future episode of Real Estate Chat. Take care and bye for now.
Bye for now.